Hey everybody, this is Rustin with Metalholic and the Examiner. With us today, bassist and resident malcontent troublemaker Seedy Mitchell of All Else Fails. How you doing, brother?
Good. Never been called that before. I like it.
I figured it sort of fit. So, lot of great stuff to talk about. You guys, after putting out your little punk album last year to tease everybody, you guys are back with the new album, the EP, Fucktropolis.
Absolutely.
That's a great fucking name, man. How'd that come about?
It kind of started as a joke, to be honest. Like, we were writing lyrics and stuff, and it ended up in the lyrics, and we're like, dude, that sounds sweet. We should use it.
It works. Why not? So there's obviously a little bit of a theme going on here, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But in your mind, sonically and everything, where is this album taking us relative to The Oracle?
It's heavier, man. Heavier and darker. We're super excited because we finally have a solid lineup. We've been doing drummer changes for a long time and stuff like that, and we got to write this as a group for once. It's kind of frustrating when you got three guys writing an album and guys always trying to learn it and stuff like that. But we wrote this together, and yeah, it came out heavier and darker than anything we've ever done. So we're pretty stoked about that.
How does the songwriting process work in All Else Fails? Do you guys each come in with ideas, or is it one person primarily does most of the writing? Do you guys sort of do it in a room together, or?
It's kind of all over the place, man. If sometimes we'll come up with ideas sitting around drinking beer, all four of us but generally, we all play everything kind of thing. The drummer plays a bit of guitar and everybody plays everything. So one guy will come in with this kind of a song skeleton, and then we'll fuck with it till till everybody's happy with it.
Nice. Now, you mentioned it already. What kind of an impact did new drummer Shane there have on the album? He sounds pretty powerful on Fucktropolis.
Oh, yeah, man. He's awesome. I'm just super impressed that he almost died recently. It was kind of messed up. He was in, I can't remember where it was, Delta, BC or something. He was skydiving.
Oh, wow.
And something fucked up with his parachute. And he ended up landing on his back in this marsh and only had a concussion.
Wow. That's one of those big fears you always have, because I jumped out of a plane once when I was in the military, and I was like, I will never do that again.
Oh, really? Starting to feel like we're Spinal Tap or something, or our one drummer just spontaneously combusted and the other guy choked on vomit. It wasn't his vomit, though. We're not sure whose vomit it was.
Nice. Well, he definitely an impressive debut for Shane. So
we're super happy to have him, man.
There are only 5 tracks on the new album, not counting the little 25-second interlude at the very end. So I'm going to torture you and make you take us briefly through all 5.
Okay, we kind of prefer to let people make their own judgments on the lyrics and stuff like that, but I'll give you the punk rock version.
Okay.
Anti-Martyr is about societal fuck-ups, where we're sitting, and that's the punk rock version. What's next? Better Left Undead?
Well, what's the sonically? Give us a little bit of the backstory on that one, how it came together as a musical piece. Because I know Barrett's sort of the lyric guy anyway, but as a song, what's the story behind that one coming together? Who sort of brought that one in? Stuff like that.
Honestly, I can't remember with Anti-Martyr. I think Barrett and Mike wrote that one mostly. Brought the skeletons in.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of went from there.
So Better Left Undead.
That one was mostly Barrett. He kind of wrote that one at home and brought it in. We're like, yeah, that's pretty cool, man. So same kind of thing. We just messed with it, and everybody ended up being happy with it.
And that's sort of the one you chose as the first single, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Good one to get out there first. La Demencia Violenta. Or however you pronounce it. Violenta.
That one was mostly, well, not mostly, but I brought that one to the table.
Nice. So we get more of the inner story here. How'd that one come together for you?
Just jamming at home. We all kind of have little side projects and stuff like that, and some things we submit to the band don't really fit with what we're trying to do.
Right.
So we'll end up using it for ourselves rather than making it an All Else Fails thing. And I brought this one to the table, and everybody liked it, so we started working on it.
How do you know? I mean, is it always pretty distinct what you know will work and won't work, or is it sometimes up in the air? Let's play with it and see.
We're getting to know each other better. Like Barrett and I have worked together for 5 or 6 years now, and the more we write together as a group and stuff like that, the more we kind of know what everybody likes and what everybody wants. So we tend to submit only the things that we know are already going to work. So we're so busy all the time. It's nice to weed out a certain process.
Right. Yeah. We've all got day jobs on top of everything else. So
yeah, man. It's a rough life.
Yes. Obedience at the altar of sacrifice.
Oh, I can't remember on that. I think a lot of that one was Barrett too. And he kind of, like, he programs, we all kind of program drums when we're doing our own thing. Mm-hmm. So we can submit it and be like, here's the overall idea, dude. And he brought that one in. And yeah.
Finally, a most unwanted reprieve.
That's riffs that I had years ago, and they've always been in the back of my head. And, Barrett and I jammed on them even before Mike was in the band, I think. So that we're talking like 4 years ago or so, the original riffs in that song. We've always been like, dude, we got to use this. But we never really had we were never happy with the song until we got like Mike and Shane involved in it. And everybody got their input, and we're like, okay, we're happy with this now. Let's release it.
It happens that way sometimes. You have, whether it's a lyrical idea or a riff or something, some little melody that just sort of hangs out there, and it's going to be awesome somewhere. You just don't know where or when.
Yeah, exactly.
So, now, Barrett usually does most of the interviews for All Else Fails, so let's take this opportunity to get to know a little bit more about you. When did you first know music was going to be your path? Was there sort of a moment of epiphany, a concert, an album, something like that?
I heard Nirvana when I was a kid.
And you started to play rock and roll?
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was, of course, the Nevermind release, right?
Right.
And I heard Smells Like Teen Spirit, and I was like, okay, I'm not listening to Dance Mix 95 anymore. Let's move on.
So now, was bass always sort of your weapon of choice, or did you just sort of slide into that?
I got into that in like music in band class. That was the cool instrument that they offered. They didn't have guitar and stuff like that, so I started playing the bass in band class and moved on to guitar. I played guitar for a lot of years, but you get to choose the people you work with a lot easier when you play the bass. Everybody's a guitar player. True. But if you're a bass player, you get to work with whoever you want. So that's pretty sweet.
Nice. So were there, I know Nirvana was sort of what kicked it off for you, but were there any particular bass players that you sort of tried to emulate or pick things up from, or you just sort of go on your own?
I got to be honest, and the bass players are going to hate me for this, but I play the bass like a guitar, I think. Like, I'm a guitar player at heart. I think the bass is sweet, and it's it makes everything better, but I've never really been influenced by a bass player.
So who has influenced you?
Slayer. Nice. Slayer taught me how to play guitar.
So, well, that brings up an interesting question, given, what's happened, the loss of Jeff Hanneman, Tom Aray's constant back issues and everything. I mean, Kerry's getting ready to go over to Europe, if he hasn't done it already, and do a Slayer tour with him as the only member of the band. What do you think Lombardo's out of the band now. What do you think should happen? I mean, should Slayer continue on, or is this starting to just get to be a joke now, which it would be heartbreaking for Slayer?
In my opinion, sometimes they should just leave it, let it be classic, let it be awesome. And, look at Metallica, like, they're putting out stuff, and I appreciate that they're trying to be heavy and stuff, but, dude, you guys did some great things, and if they're having fun and stuff, then fine, but if Slayer were left alone, they would sit in my all-time favorite music category, They risk ruining it for people, I think.
Well, and everybody looks at Slayer as a sort of seminal, iconic lineup, and it's hard enough to replace one member like that, but you're literally talking at only having half the band left, and one of them's always injured, so... Yeah.
You're going to end up being like the Motley Crue guitar player, having a stick up your back so you can stand up.
There we go. More Spinal Tap-ish stuff. So,
hey, there you go.
So what are you into outside of music and family?
That's a tough question, man. We're so busy with, like, we got the day job, and then it's always something to do with the band, like, right now we're shooting a video for Better Left Undead. Actually, it's going to be released. I'm not sure exactly on the date, but people have to keep their eyes on our Facebook page for that, and YouTube and stuff. But we're always doing something, so that pretty much keeps us busy. And if it's not that, we're talking about the things that we're going to do and drinking beer.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much what life is.
It's always interesting when you actually get a chance to sit down and talk with some people. You discover they're foodies, or they're like fantasy hockey player, sports people, or you just never know until you just ask that one weird question and it suddenly comes out, so it's always interesting to find out what people are really passionate about outside of what they're so known for. But all right.
Yeah, I mean, Mike is he's a phenomenal guitar player, and he's got lots of side projects and stuff like that. He's like a session player, trained jazz guy, and so he's got like shows every other night with different projects and stuff like that too. So when we're not touring and that, he's busy with that. Barrett and I are kind of video game nerds too. Like, every chance of downtime we get, I'd be happy to sit in the Lazy Boy with a 6-pack of beer and, play a role-playing game or something.
There you go. So pay it forward. You guys get an opportunity to play with lots of other young upcoming bands. Is there any band that you've run across in your travels that sort of you think other people should be maybe taking notice of?
We've played with this really young band called Tyrant. They came to mind first because, I don't know, they're all really young guys, and I think they're doing it right. They've got a sound that I like, and just giving her, Vancouver is an interesting place. I'm kind of getting off topic a little bit, but every time we go there, we play with phenomenal bands. Quartered is one that I'll bring up. Mm-hmm. I really love Deftones, and they have a kind of Deftones-esque feel to them. Yeah, we should play with them live and see them live, and we're like, man, these guys are awesome. Right. So I would tell people to listen to them.
So Tyrant and Quartered are two bands to look into. So our pointless question of the week: if you could appear on any television show as a character or yourself, what would it be?
Wipeout.
Wipeout. I haven't heard that one yet. Is that strictly Canadian thing, or?
I think there's a Canadian version. I don't know if it's called the same thing, but it's basically you put on a helmet and do an obstacle course, and people always get messed up on it. It looks awesome.
Nice. Seedy Mitchell of All Else Fails, the new album, Fucktropolis. Now, the new album, it's really an EP. There's only 5 tracks. Is there a reason why you guys opted to keep it short this time around, or?
We wanted to give something to the fans. It's really hard for bands these days. If you don't come out with something, every 2 years, people move on with like online stuff and
right.
On and on. So, and it was for us too. Like, I don't know, playing the same stuff gets kind of tedious. So if instead of not releasing anything new for a year, but we're practicing all this stuff, by the time we release it, we're going to be like, okay, this is, we know these songs so well, they're not as fun as they would have been. So we're just trying to release things as they come and kind of be more true to ourselves. I guess everything's changing all the time and everything sounds different all the time. So we're just trying to keep up. Exactly. With our writing.
And the music industry has changed so much where who says you have to put out a full album X number of months apart and all that good stuff? Why can't you put out little chunks here and there to keep things fresh and keep the fans excited? So
yeah, exactly. Not many people can pull off the, like Metallica's 6 years between albums thing.
Exactly. So
people move on too quickly now.
Coming out on July 30th, Seedy Mitchell, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.